Joe, we've talked about free throw disparity a bunch. That some of that's going to be accepted because of the style of defense that you play, but still feels like there is still too much fouling while you're defending. How do you guys clean that up?
Again, it's situational. We forced 14 turnovers to our 6, and we got 15 more shots than they did. And so it's situational. Obviously, you don't want to give up a flagrant foul at the end of the game. You don't want to foul a three-point shooter, but that's easier said than done. He's one of the best foul creators in the league. Regardless, there's always going to be 4 or 5, situational fouls. But at the end of the day, we got 15 more shots. Forced 14 turnovers for 27 points. And so we just have to continue to play the way that we play and at the same time have good situational execution.
And then in that same regard, you missed, I think, 12 shots in the restricted area. How did that play into their ability to come back and make it a game?
Yeah, I mean, again, that's everyone thinks that just because the closer you get it, the easier that it is, and you have to be able to knock those down in the restricted area. And usually, when you miss those, it starts a 5-on-4 at the other end, and you have a guy or two behind the defense. So I thought our reads were pretty good. We got to be much better, and when we get the ball in the paint, of making those, and then regardless, we got to sprint back. So I thought we made some good reads. They forced us to play in the seam a little bit. Nimi, made some good plays on both ends, but we have to be great. We got to be physical. We got to be great in the restricted area, and then we got to sprint back on defense.
Jack. Joe, those Harden threes at the end there, were you happy with the contest? Was that just tough shot making for him?
Again, he's a guy that he's one of the best elite foul draws. So you have to pick and choose how you're going to try to do that. So again, we're all going to focus on the last couple of possessions, but we gave up 15 points on second chance in the third quarter, and we got a great look by Peyton. In the quarter we got a layup by Nimi, and then we had a D. White pull-up shot. If one of those goes in, it's a different game. So, we just got to continue to execute possessions throughout the entire game. But he's a guy that's tremendous foul drawer. So there's no right answer.
That's what I was asked. There was obviously a switch flipped. It felt like they wanted a big run at some point. I think it was the second or third quarter. Was there something that you noticed that changed in the game, or was it just you guys missing shots that led to that? Was there anything that changed the momentum there that you noticed?
They put James Harden back in the 6-minute mark, and then they went to more of a shooting lineup to where you couldn't really double from anywhere, and he made some plays, right? And then, like I said, we fouled him on a 3-point play. We fouled him driving to the basket, and so it's those situational ones. But they did a good job going to a particular offensive lineup, which gave them great spacing, and then he was able to create plays for himself. And at that point, you have to decide, with the shooting that they have out there.
Bobby.
Peyton said after the Memphis game that he'd been in a mental funk recently. What have you seen these last 2 games as he's played more freely and more instinctively?
I think he's it's just part of who he is. He's very hard on himself and wants to be great all the time, and it's a compliment to who he is. And that's why you trust him completely. If he has a bad game, a bad quarter, even if it's a bad 5 games, it doesn't matter. He's always going to come back to who he is because of his work ethic, and that's it. So the last 2 games, I think he's playing the same way. He's just the game's coming to him a little bit easier. He's competing on the defensive end, but you can always count on him.
And from Jordan overall, what did you see from him against Harden tonight?
Yeah, I think, again, he's one of the best foul drawers in the league. I think it was, he did a great job. I'd prefer not to get a flagrant foul on a 3-point shot, but it's easier said than done when you have to guard him for as long as he did, for 33 straight minutes. So I thought he was very good, and I thought he made some winning plays throughout the entire game, and that's the role. That's what you have to become, as a guy that can guard anybody on any given night, and he's embracing that.
Joe, in the last 2 games, Peyton and Derek are both now shooting really well from 3. I think you've maintained all season that was just they were just missing easy looks. How much does it change for you guys now that those shots are going in? Does it feel like it opens things up for other players? And did it feel just kind of inevitable that it was coming and now it's like we're all just seeing it?
Yeah, it was definitely inevitable just because of who they are as players and how hard they work. And, I think it also just changes the way that teams have to defend us in pick and roll. And so that's a correlation to the restricted area layups that we got, is because those guys are playing better. They're up in pick and roll, and we're getting behind on the 2-on-1, and then we're making seam reads either for a kick out or for a layup there. So there's a correlation to how well they're playing, the pick and roll coverages and the type of shots that we're getting. So, but it's inevitable. They work too hard, and they're too good of players. They'll go up, they'll go down, but at the end of the day, they'll make plays, and we just got to execute as a team.
And And then Jalen had 13 rebounds tonight. I think that's his high for the season. 2 steals in the fourth quarter. Like, what did you see, in addition to the scoring, but what did you see from him in this game?
Yeah, he had 2 great days of practice this week, and just making conscious effort to be a well-rounded player. It's a really a compliment to a guy that can get his shot at any point in time to rest on the defensive end. But he does the opposite, and like you said, I thought he went on a run there in the fourth quarter. That kind of got the lead to where it was. But the 2 steals in the fourth quarter and his ability to rebound, just playing both ends of the ball, and that's how he's leading for us. He's got to continue to do it.
Yeah, I also wanted to ask about JV at 13 in the fourth. What can you just say about him being a steadying force on this team? I mean, he's done it for years prior, but just now that he's more in the limelight as the primary option, just what can you say about him calming the team down in those runs for the Clippers?
Yeah, the only thing he cares about is winning, and so he's finding a great balance of putting us in position to win, empowering his teammates, and doing what he needs to do in games for us to give us a shot. So like you said, 13 in the fourth quarter. At the same time, playing defense, getting steals. He's just, all he cares about is winning and going about it the right way, and that's a credit to him.
Final question, Garrett. Joe, when Harden finishes with 37, but I think he had 1 field goal midway through the third quarter.
Yeah.
What do you tell Jordan when he looks and goes, damn, the dude had 37?
How
do you kind of console him, but tell him he did well defensively?
I'm never going to console him. He doesn't, no, I'm never going to do that. He's earning opportunity. I thought he did a great job. Like I said, he's one of the best foul drawers in the league. I'd prefer not to have a flagrant, but if you guard him for 33 minutes, you're going to foul him, 2 or 3 times. It's just Jordan's ability to stay disciplined throughout the entire thing, and he's just showing a true mindset into taking that on and having the professionalism and the toughness to do that every night. So we don't tell him anything because of all the other stuff he's done. He had 6 defensive rebounds, 2 offensive, and he's doing more than just guarding the other team's best player. And I think some critical rebounds that he had. So you pat him on the back, you tell him to get better.
Is there a mentality he has to have guarding elite players?
Absolutely.
Because he's going to sometimes give it up?
Yeah, I mean, you got to have thick skin. You got to have thick skin. You got to have a level of vulnerability to know that at any point in time it could not go well, and you just have to do it. And I think that's developing the mental toughness of the young guys. Is like, you're a target every single night. You got to have thick skin, and I think he's developing that.
We have one final question. We're welcoming Rusty Smith from Sports Illustrated Kids.
What's up, kid?
Back of the room there. Go ahead, Rusty.
It's Kids Day here at the Garden. How do you balance pushing players to improve while also keeping the game fun for them?
I struggle with that, to be honest with you. I think everyone has a different definition of fun, and you have to find one as a team. And I think fun's a cop-out sometimes when things aren't going well. Everybody likes to say, well, let's just have fun. And it's like, well, what does that mean, And so, I think you have to define what fun looks like as a team, and then you kind of have to go after that. But, that phrase can be a cop-out sometimes. So as you get older, kid, don't use it, It's like, I just want to have fun. It's like, well, what does that mean? So, you just got to define that. It's a good question. I struggle with that.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Rusty. Thank you, Jeff.